What's going on, everybody? It's Brian Trippe. Welcome to another episode of the Real Estate Investing Live podcast. We interview the very best real estate investors, entrepreneurs, and business leaders all throughout the country. And today, I've got a good friend, Mr. David Lecko, with me. And I have to say right off the bat, David, I should have had you on the podcast a long time ago. So it's long overdue that we get David Lecko, the founder of the DealMachine app, on the show. How's it going, David?
It's going really well. Thank you for having me on.
I'm excited to dig in. I think a lot of people, if you're in the real estate space, especially wholesaling, you've undoubtedly heard of DealMachine. For the very few that have not, David, tell everybody what it is. What is DealMachine?
Yes, it's a simple way to scale driving for dollars and get a really high lead ROI lead list.
So it's a funny story. Probably about 3 or 4 years ago, I had a friend of mine say, you know what, there should be some sort of app where I could just go and like take a picture of the property, and then just it knows exactly where it is, and it just sends a mail and I get a call. There should be an app for that. And I'm like, I met you at a conference. And I was texting this guy. I'm like, I may have found the app that you were talking about like all those years ago. He's like, man, I knew I should have invented that. So David, tell everybody what it does. It literally does that. You take a picture of a house and it just sends mail.
That's right. Yeah, that's exactly what it does. So from your car, you can pull on over, tap to add a house that you see. It's going to fill in the address. It's going to tell you who owns it and if it's owner occupied or absentee owner. And then from there, you can press a button. Well, first of all, you can take a photo of the house, and then you could press a button to send a mailer to the owner. So wherever the owner lives, that's where the mail is going to go. And it's going to have a picture of the house on the postcard that you took. So that way it stands out in the mailbox, and they're not going to throw it away. They're going to see that was like a thoughtful like piece of mail that you sent them. And so it's going to give you the best chance of getting a call back.
So David, I want to talk about the origin of how this thing even came about. And then I also want to kind of gear it towards maybe the wholesaler that's either wants to use it, needs to be using it, whatever it is. And I want to talk about innovation. What are you guys doing, forward thinking types of stuff. So before we get into all that, David, how did you were telling me off air that you were actually in real estate and you developed this as a necessity?
Yeah, I was getting into real estate. I was actually just coming off of reading Rich Dad, Poor Dad, which a lot of people have been inspired by besides myself. And there's a game that goes along with it called the cash flow game. And so if you use your income from your job to buy investments like rental properties and they cash flow every month, then you can get out of the rat race that way. And that's what I was trying to do. I was looking for my very first rental property. So what I saw available for sale, the numbers didn't really work out well. They weren't going to cash flow. In other words, I couldn't charge enough in rent to justify paying that high of a price. So I went to this real estate meetup looking for answers. I was like, does this still work? Like, how come I can't find any deals that would cash flow? And then I heard about how to find better deals, and they talked about driving for dollars. And that's when I went around driving in my car, looking for houses that looked run down. And so the idea is you buy it at a discount because it's run down. And you just have to reach out to those owners and ask if they wanted to sell their property. And so that's what I was doing. But there was one problem. I just really stunk at follow-up. And so I would do the driving. That was a lot of fun. But I would just go home, eat dinner, go to bed. And I never did make the time fast enough to look up the owner and then actually get my mail pieces sent out. So I was struggling with that. And I first realized I had the issue because I drove by one of those houses several weeks later. Someone else was renovating it. And that's when I realized, like, oh, they just sold it to someone else. I had it on my list and I never even followed up. And so that's why I ended up trying to make a solution for myself that would do that and do the follow-up right there from in the car. So I didn't have any chance of messing up my own, follow-up, essentially. It was going to do it for me.
So the app does, talk about more about the app.
Sure.
Does it act as a CRM then? Does it do this stuff automatically? Get a little bit more granular about the app itself.
Okay, sure. Yeah, I wouldn't call it a CRM. It has some very light CRM type features because it's going to resend the mail on your schedule that you want it to. So it's just for houses that you input while you're driving for dollars. And then you can say, I really, really want this house. So let me repeat this mail like every 2 weeks, and it's going to resend out that postcard. But for other houses, you could say, oh, maybe send them every 5-6 weeks. And that's kind of what the CRM feature is like, is it has that automated follow-up sequence built in so that you don't forget.
Do you recommend the app to be paired with a specific CRM? Because I know it's got features where you could export stuff out. Do you recommend a certain CRM, or you don't really get into that game at all?
So yeah, I would say we've got a Zapier integration,
right,
which is a third-party company that connects thousands of apps together. And if you guys already have a CRM, we want a DealMachine to work with that. Mm-hmm. But if you don't have a CRM, we want a DealMachine to be enough for you to get a few deals under your belt and then be able to migrate over to a CRM, if that makes sense. So there's not a specific CRM that we necessarily work better with than others.
Gotcha.
We're trying to design to work with any CRM that y'all are already using. I know Podio is really popular, just, platform out there. So that's just one example. Any CRM that's based on Podio, you can definitely forward leads from DealMachine to.
So David, this has been out for now, a couple of years. And
yeah,
it's, you just told me, 9,000 subscribers right now, over 80,000 downloads, which is significant compared to where you were when I first met you I met you at Tom Kroll's Wholesaling Inc. conference in 2018, January 2018. So, and you told me, you hired your 14th employee already?
Yeah, today.
You had like one at the time or zero, whatever it was. So DealMachine's come a long way in a very short period of time.
Definitely.
What kinds of stories have you heard from users about how the DealMachine app is best used? Because it's a lot of users, a lot of subscribers,
mm-hmm.
a lot of popularity right now. How is it best used right now?
Oh my gosh. So the best way to possibly use it is to have a team of other people out there driving for you.
Okay, talk about that.
Yeah, a lot of people were very hesitant to do that when we started talking about it, because they're like, well, if I pay someone to go drive for me, how do I know they're not just charging me too much? How do I know they're not just saying they work 5 hours and they really just went out there for 30 minutes? How do I know they're driving in the right spot? Or how do I know that like person A isn't adding the same houses as person B? How do I make sure they don't overlap? And so we've actually listened to that, and we created different features in the app to make sure that none of that happens, basically. So the way that one of those works is called route tracking. And as somebody's driving, they can press start driving, and it's going to draw a line everywhere that they've been. And when they're done, they press stop, and it says, great, you drove 36 miles over 54 minutes, and you added 17 houses. And so if you're paying them by the hour, you know exactly how much to pay them.
Wow.
They can get a deduction on their mileage. It's tracked. And then they can see the other green lines from other people on your team. That way they don't overlap and duplicate work. So that's just one example of an innovation that came from just listening to what people wanted. And right now, I mean, that's the way to use it. If you are at a stage where you've done 10 deals or so, and like you're ready to scale a team. So that's definitely the biggest way to use it.
I feel like that's an incredible, I didn't even know that. I feel like that's an incredible feature. Talk about some of the things that maybe, that's one of them. You just mentioned one of them, but some things that maybe you were listening to the users where maybe there was like something that wasn't working as well as you thought it would work, something that you didn't even think of that a user kind of brought to your attention. What kinds of things have you heard from your users that you have actually implemented that the rest of us can benefit from?
Absolutely. Well, so something that's just coming, like in the month of November, is if you're okay with me sharing.
This is going to come out in about 4 weeks. So
all right, perfect.
It'll be already out then.
Right. So we actually have this a forum where people can submit ideas and they can vote on the best ideas. So the best, most requested ideas bubble up to the top, and that's what we prioritize. So they were saying, hey, I'm already doing some bulk mail. I'm already spending 10, 20 grand a month on mail. So I'm not going to stop doing that. even though they want to try a new way to get leads, such as scaling driving for dollars, they don't want their drivers to be adding properties that they're already mailing to, that are already on these mailing lists. And so we're creating this feature that you can actually bulk upload houses that you're already mailing to, so that your drivers can see like, hey, don't add this house while they're out there driving. And so it's just making sure they're not overlapping again. Yeah. The other thing is that some people like to go specifically to areas where there's a lot of vacant houses. And so different counties will publish the vacant houses because the postal service will deliver mail, and then the mailbox will get full, and then that'll trigger a little indicator for the post office that it's vacant. So there's vacant lists out there that you can get. People want to upload that as well, and to specifically go driving in those areas with DealMachine and add those properties and properties around them, and finding the top areas like that. So that's coming in the month of November.
That's awesome. I love that. I think that you said this off air too, before we got started, that customer service and just providing a good customer experience is really important to you guys.
It is. It's so important. I was so nervous to hire anyone else to do that job. Actually, I waited way too long. And I am so blown away by how caring our support team is, and they do it way better than I could have possibly done. With everything else going on, it's hard to put that right attention to that. But we definitely take a lot of pride in that.
I think as a user of anything, we want to know that if something is not, if we're not happy about something or something comes up, I want to know that there's someone on the other end that cares about me and is going to be quick to fix that. So talking about that, I've had many conversations with you guys, and I'm just going to be frank. I went with another company just because I felt like it was the right fit for me at that time.
Okay.
After spending, this is why it's taking me so long to get you on the show, David. After spending a year plus with this company, I've realized that it probably wasn't the right decision. They were cheaper, but it probably wasn't the right decision. And so the question I have for you is, for me, I believe right now DealMachine is the best product on the market for what it does. But I also know of a lot of other companies that are ramping up right now. They're trying to add their own DealMachine types of things to their platforms that already exist. What are you guys doing right now to get better and be better and innovate and continue to change with the times?
Yep. Well, with technology, I think that you're always, no matter what industry you're in, you're going to have people that are, copying what you're doing. And so it's not really a surprise to us. We're really staying focused on this one area. So we're just focusing and going really, really deep on the driving aspect of lead generation, where I think a lot of these other companies that you're speaking of, they're kind of adding it as a module to the 5 or 10 other things that they already do. And I think having a full team of 14 plus people now is we're just kind of just doubling down on the one thing that we do really, really well, and staying focused not to do other things and spread ourselves too thin.
Yeah.
So I think, I kind of mentioned to you the way we build features a lot is from listening to that user feedback. And so just that compared with just staying really focused on driving and continuing to make that better is going to help us keep winning people over. And we would love to win you over. And we're glad that we're glad that you're with us.
Well, so, look at the names. You look at the names that you guys are affiliated with that are really pushing you guys hard. You talk about the Max Maxwells of the world. I know Brent Daniels has a really big driving for dollars following through DealMachine. And I'm sure there are many, many more. Those are the two most prominent that I know of. How important was that for you guys to really kind of take off like you have to get these big names behind you?
It was so important. And the primary way that we've grown is word of mouth. And then through those partners that found the app that honestly met all of them organically, which is awesome. And I feel like it was all based on a genuine human connection first, before it was ever about anything business related. And I feel really good about that, because I mean, so often, you get these like cold messages and you're like, hey, promote this thing just to make money. And it's like, it's been more than that. And I have them to thank like over and over again for spreading the word, right? Because they've got really big audiences, and that's been so key to our growth.
Yeah. But I think that's huge too. You just mentioned that. Like I get it all the time. I mean, and I don't even have, my podcast is nothing compared to like a Max Maxwell's, right? But we still have a platform, and we still have people that we're influencing and that we're talking to. And if I'm not using something, or if I feel like I can't believe in it, I'm not just going to take the dollar, right? I'd rather do things the right way. And we tested them, man. We tested DealMachine for many months, and then we tested, another platform for months as well. And really, I never promoted either one of them actually until I felt really good about one. And I can say with a lot of research, literally almost 2 years worth of research, that I think that you guys are onto something incredible. I love what you said too about going deep versus going wide and just adding something. And I think that's going to pay off for you guys for sure.
Of course. And here's the thing, like our culture at our company is like, we want the person who's using our app or the real estate investor to be successful. Of course, we want them to use our technology, but if that's not the best fit for them, like we're still going to be supportive of them and want them to be very successful in hopes that one day, 1 or 2 years down the road, we will be the right solution for them, which is your case.
Yeah.
And we totally respect that. So that's been our culture. And I think it feels really good about that. We're just focusing on what we can control. Right. And that's your experience with our company.
Yeah. That's awesome. So David, tell everybody like you can just you can go download it on how can they get it? How does it work? How's the setup of it work and all things like that? Yeah.
So we actually offer a 14-day trial. Okay. We've got a basic plan. It's great for you to just go out, add your own house. If you want to test it out, you get some free postcards that you can send as well. So you can actually hold those once you send them to yourself. And I would encourage you to do that on the first day of the trial. That way you can get it, make some decision before that 14 days is up.
Yeah. And I think we have a promo code or something that we can work out. I think I already have one, but it was like my old Alaria one.
Yeah. Do you want to make a new promo code, or do you want to use Alaria?
Can we do REI Live?
Yeah, we can do that. And they're going to get $40 of free mail for using the REI Live code.
Awesome. So tell everybody, how does that work? How do they actually do that? Do they they just do it straight from their app?
Yeah, So just go to DealMachine.com and click sign up. And on that page, you're going to input your name, your email, and your promo code. And that's going to unlock the extra $40 of credit for you. And you can take advantage of that right away during your free trial.
There you go. Boom.
Yeah.
REI Live promo code. Just did it right here.
That's right.
I think that's awesome stuff. And you guys provide so much support. You guys provide so much help. I know there's you post stuff. I see your stories on Instagram. I see your posts on Instagram, all these different tricks and ways. And even Max even has different tricks and ways to use it better and more efficiently. I love it.
Mm-hmm. Yep. We're always trying to post new content to help our members out.
David, is there anything I missed? Is there anything this is the one thing you have to know about DealMachine and you didn't even ask me?
Yes. You've got to add at least 200 properties, and you've got to send and contact, whether that's postcards or calls, at least 3 times each. So we talked about you could send postcards through DealMachine. Some people will just add 10 properties and then they'll say, oh, it didn't work. But what we really want you to know is it does work. You've just got to add enough. So we want to set the expectations. You need to add at least 200, rundown looking properties, and you need to reach out to all of them at least 3 times.
Yeah. Well, David, so we talk about that a lot on this show, and I think your numbers are super low there. Really low. I've had coaching students that'll send out 200 pieces of mail and they think that direct mail doesn't work because they send out 200. You should be sending out 2,000 pieces of mail and sending out lots of mail because it's a numbers game for sure. Mm-hmm. And then the follow up, we like to touch 6, 7, 8 times with mail if we're doing direct mail.
That's very true. It's very true. I try to, I always say at least 200, at least 3 times, because I know a lot of people have a small budget, and I honestly don't want to scare them too far away.
Yeah.
You wouldn't believe deals come in even before that, but they need to, at least as a bare minimum, if they're going to try it out, they're going to get some calls if they do that.
Yeah, for sure. Look, you're probably right, but like I would want to set the expectation for sure. Like you're sending out any kind of mail like that and your follow up,
Right.
not like it takes talent too. Like how good are you on the phone? How good are you?
Of course.
All these different things when it comes to any kind of mail, not just driving for dollars leads. This is a lead generation tool. So you need to treat it like that. They are getting you leads. Okay, they're getting your phone to ring. The rest of it is, I'll include a link right now. If you're watching this on YouTube, I'm going to put a link right at the top of the screen right this second about how to not just lead generation, but how to follow up and how to negotiate, how to talk to people on the phone, all those kinds of things, because that's vital as well. But it's a numbers game. You got to get out there, get those addresses in, and send that mail out.
100%. And what I think everyone could agree on is that if you're buying a list, other people can buy that list too. And so that's typically why you've got to send more mail compared to like driving for dollars, where you'd send fewer pieces of mail. That's
true. The driving for dollars list is the best list that you can have because no one else has it.
Right.
You're the only person with that list. That's your list.
It takes a little bit of extra work, but that little extra work to go find the houses is what gives you the advantage that most people won't do.
100%. I agree.
Yeah.
Love it, David. This is awesome. I appreciate you coming on our show, man. Appreciate you.
I appreciate you having me. Thank you so much.
Guys, hit the subscribe button. We've got incredible guest lineup just like David, so you don't want to miss that. We love you. We will see you soon.